second storyteller tonight is Scott Gohus. Scott lives over on Juler Avenue, moved there in 2023 as a senior project manager at Kroger's, and his story is the Great Pumpkin Invasion.
Got to get the props.
Why should have bought eggs?
Heidi, I was going to say, I'm glad you didn't bring props tonight. Thank you.
We could have thrown eggs at you.
I know.
Precisely. Did you give me the cue? All right. Well, first I want to say thanks for everybody being here. I thought with it being so beautiful outside, nobody would be here. And then I thought, why aren't we having this outside, right? But I'm not going to second guess because I've also noticed Ohio weather can be a little temperamental. So that's new to me. When I grew up in Chicago. And when I was 7 years old, my family moved to Arizona. And in sharing that with me, they said, hey, we're moving to Arizona. It's the Southwest, it's the desert. I'm like, seriously, we're moving to a desert? Visions of 5-mile walks through the sand to my nearest neighbor's house came to mind. So I asked my parents, well, if we're gonna do this, you at least owe me, you need to get me an ATV, right? And I'll spoil it, I never got that ATV because when we got there, it looked like every other neighborhood, right? For those who have been to Arizona, it's not the middle of the desert, it's not sand everywhere. And I think I was more relieved at that, although I was disappointed to never get that ATV. Growing up there, I lived from 7 until about a year and a half ago, I lived in Arizona. And growing up there, the neighborhood that we landed in for most of my life was this great community. And with my parents, we all did things together. We did dine-arounds. We did camping trips together. We would go on road trips together. And there was always somebody at someone else's house. And we all kind of watched over each other, and it was just a great community. And so as I grew up, as I became an adult, I bought my first home expecting the same sort of experience. I didn't have that. It was neighbors who kind of a little standoffish. Maybe it was me, but they kept their distance. And so then I moved again, same experience. Again, now I'm really thinking it's me. Moved again, mixed success. And then I moved into a neighborhood just before coming here. It's a suburb of Phoenix called Arcadia. And it was this tiny little, like a dead-end street. And I thought, it's do or die now. So 25 houses. I've got now she's 16. At the time, she was around 10 or 12 years old. We would do, every year we would do a Christmas craft project. And every year we would come up with something different. And it was things like hot cocoa jars or stuffed animals, these huge stuffed animals that I used to get through the company I worked for. And we would go to all the neighbors and they all had kids. And so it was very fun. And my daughter and I would go to everybody's house and Merry Christmas, here's a gift for you. We were trying to engage with all of these neighbors, these 25 neighbors. My daughter plays lacrosse. We would throw a lacrosse ball in the front yard. We'd wave as people go by. And with that, we would be met with the neighbors, keep driving, don't slow down. They pull into their garage door goes down, and then they get out of their car. I was like, man, it is really tough to make a connection here. And so, I got to a point where decided if I'm ever going to leave Arizona, now's the time. And very randomly, we ended up in Cincinnati. My daughter and I had never visited here. I didn't have a job, no family. I knew not one person, but here we ended up. And you can imagine going into a new city, what it's like trying to find, where do you want to live? Where do you want to lay down roots. And again, with my daughter, this is a even bigger decision because this is her high school days, right? Where she goes, I can't just pick up because I don't like it in 6 months. So we really had to make a tough decision. And fortunately, I met one of my best friends who is here supporting me tonight, Laura. And she, being from Cincinnati, knows everything about everywhere. And so she was so kind to help me find where to go. And so we narrowed it down to 4 places: Loveland, Marymount, Anderson Township. Apparently that's a little taken like the West Side sometimes, I think. Yeah. And Madeira. And so it came to one day, we had found a place in Anderson. It was fine. We went and looked at the high school there. Fine. But there was another house that had just come on the market the night before. I saw the picture. I'm like, oh, everybody is going to want this house. And I told my daughter after we looked at the one in Anderson, and I said, look, we have to go look at this other house. We are not going to get it. I don't even want to have a conversation about it, but I need to see it just to check it off the list. She's like, yeah, fine. So we go walk through this house, and also, I guess I should back up. In Arizona, every house is very cookie cutter. They're all tract homes. You get one of 4 designs. You get one of 3 palette choices of colors. It's the same. So coming here to see all this uniqueness, to see a different style of house was mind-blowing for us. And then we saw this house, and it was so cute and different than anything we had ever experienced. My daughter and I walked through, and I remember vividly standing in the driveway just going, I guess this is going to be our house. So we eventually were able to convince them to sell it to us. And so that led us and put us on Juler Avenue. And so moving day came, and I had all of our stuff in a shipping container. And my daughter and I, not knowing anybody, are unloading this container by ourselves. Again, she's 14 at the time. And I'm explaining to her, all right, keep your back straight, lift with your legs. Like, we're taking heavy things at this point. And one of the neighbors across the street, who I've never met, comes running over. His name is Scott. I was running over, hey, let me give you a hand with that. I'm like, that's awesome. My name's Scott. Hey, I'm Scott too. Great. And so he helps me in the house with that. And off he goes to do his own thing. We continue doing boxes. The next day, we're doing it again. Had a heavy desk. And again, going through the same thing with my daughter. Remember from yesterday, we don't have Scott to run over here today. And she's about to do it. And another neighbor comes running over, Sean. Hey, let me give you a hand with that. So he picks it up, and we take it into the house, and like, hey, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. The next day, now we've got everything in the house. I get a ring on the doorbell, open the door, and it's another neighbor, Tracy. And Tracy Causey and Jeff, for those who know. And hey, I'm your neighbor. I'd like to put together a get together so you can meet everybody and everybody can meet you, and we'll just have it in the front yard. And I'm like, what is happening here? Where am I? Like, fantastic. So probably 2 hours, all the neighbors came over, and we just had a great time meeting everybody all at once. I immediately forgot everyone's names, but I did do my best. And so it was such a unique experience. So then this is June. By the time Christmas comes, I start to know the neighbors a little bit, and that's when I know John, who is our videographer here, and his lovely wife, Ashley, who then invite me to a Christmas party. I'm like, they know I know no one, so I'm like, fantastic. So off we go to this Christmas party, and while we're coming back, John's wife, Ashley, mentions that another neighborhood has coordinated to do these blow-up Santas. I don't know which neighborhood it is, and I couldn't find it if you told me to try and find it. But one of the neighborhoods around here coordinates and does this. And I thought, that's such a great idea. Like, we have such a great street. Why aren't we doing something like that? So that's when the idea was born to do our next craft project. It ended up being Halloween, creating these light up pumpkins. And so this was a homemade project where, if I can get it, it's just a simple landscape light. Then the cheap trick-or-treat pumpkin, and you cut the handles off and stick it on and then put some gaskets to hold it all together. And then it's solar powered, so it lights up. And then one night we made I'd say about 10 of these. And to the neighbors that I knew, we just went and at night put them in their yard. So they woke up to them the next morning, which was great. And I wanted to do it anonymously. And so then I started hearing from people who did know that it was me. Hey, another neighbor down the street really would love one of those. Can you tell them where you bought them? I'm like, yeah, these are homemade. So I ran back to Menards and bought the rest of these lights that they had, went back to Walmart and got more of these, powered back up the assembly line, got more going, and then again went to our neighbors. So by the end, we ended up having probably, I think it was 20 of them in the end, as you would come onto our street. And at night, we put them in a very specific location. So as you would look down the street, it was this nice, almost runway look of these little pumpkins out there.
It's great.
And so I don't know if it's Ohio, if it's Madeira, or if it's Juler. All I know is we landed in the right place. And I think we finally found what we were looking for in all these other places. We just had to travel across the country to find it. And I will add one more thing to continue that. We are planning a block party. It's still in process, but July the 20th, it's a Sunday. I'm a big music fan. And so I'm bringing an artist up from Nashville to do what I'm calling the Tiny Porch Concert. So they're going to play on the porch. We're going to block off the street, all the neighbors. We're going to have a block party with the band playing. But I wanted to make it more than just our street, because as I've met some of the people here, they're like, oh, our street doesn't do things like that. And so our street isn't reserved for just us. Like, it's all of us. And so I invite everybody here. I'll try to get that word out, but this is the first attempt, and now I'm committed to having to do this. So with that, yes, July 20th from 6 to 10, we'll be doing that. So put that in your calendars. All right.
Thank you so much, Scott. There's a lot of really cool stuff to take away from that. But the thing I was reflecting on when I saw that is, like, with the story that Scott brought, that is the norm around here. We all have those stories. It is not the exception. It isn't just Juler. It is at a Madeira. I don't know if it's more than Madeira, but I know for sure it is Madeira. And the thing that makes that happen is it's a choice we need to make every day. That choice to lend a hand when a neighbor's moving in, the choice to bring over some cookies, or even just wave when someone's driving by. Every time you do that, you make this place just a little better. And when we all do that, we make this place really great. And Scott, we're so glad that you made it here. Right?